Hello, brothers and sisters. Pro-life leader Frank Pavone here, bringing you my daily diary segment. This is a form of accountability, transparency, and celebration of the great work that God has given us to do that I never tire of doing. What did I do from the days of Monday, September 9th to Friday, September 13th of 2024? So Monday, it was the week of our pastoral meeting, and it was also the week of a trip I made to New York. So on Monday, I was here in the office, had our morning activities. I get started usually 4:30 or so at my desk and did things like leaders pro-life leaders contacting for the September 22nd prayer event that we're doing. Some work at my desk in regard to our Priests for Life essay contest. A follow-up to a beautiful meeting, a Zoom meeting I had with a group in Minnesota. Follow-up with a reporter who contacted me. Follow-up work with Ballotpedia. Actually, we're sending them information about what we're doing on the state ballot measures from state to state. Invitations for media interviews, looking at and responding to those. Email blasts. We have, of course, staff people that respond to them, but I have to approve them. Approval of an email blast and also of appeal letters going out from Priests for Life. That's some of the desk work I did throughout Monday the 9th. I had the morning staff meeting, so we had an expanded number of our people on the meeting because it is the pastoral team week. Had a meeting with some staff at 9 a.m. after that staff briefing to talk about our finalized plans for the essay contest. 10 o'clock, did some taping here in the studio of some liturgical spots. 10:30, a meeting with some of the staff in regard to the broadcast schedule, and then a meeting with our studio staff. So that brought us into the late morning, some additional work at my desk, and then a 12 noon meeting in our executive director's office, some administrative planning, more desk work in the afternoon, checking in with staff after I had a quick lunch. At 4:30, I had a meeting with our communications director, and we're talking about getting more and more of our articles published in various websites and publications. 5 o'clock, met with the gift entry department. They gave me their monthly report about our monthly donors. I hope some of you are among them. And then 6 o'clock, I got picked up here at the office and brought to the Orlando airport. I boarded a plane for New York, and on the way there to the airport, I spoke with one of the key people involved in the production of the upcoming Abby Johnson movie called Unthinkable. I'm actually in that documentary about what goes on inside the abortion industry because, as you know, I've done a lot with ex-abortionists. Flew to New York, did some work on the plane, and then rested a little bit. It was a late arrival. It was on time, but it was landed at after 11:30 p.m. And then went to my mom's home, or where I grew up, and stayed there overnight. Tuesday the 10th, there in New York, some of the things I had to deal with on my laptop included fundraising for Rachel's Vineyard, which is a ministry of Priests for Life. Communications with Right Side Broadcasting Network. Outreach to Breitbart News. We write for them occasionally. They just publish another one of my columns. Approval of faxes going out to all the parishes. Progress on the various states' efforts against these ballot measures. Planning for the National Prayer Event. Finalizing our contract with Nucleus Medical Media. That's where you see our diagrams of the abortion procedure. Various press releases being approved. We send out press releases to the different states as they make progress in their pro-life battles. Making plans for tapings, making plans for newsletters, and connecting with pro-life attorneys regarding a media request that I got and some media wanting their input. Now, Tuesday was involved in two other big things. Of course, there at home, we started with some extra help in the house for my mom. So I wanted to be there to assist in that getting started. And assisted my mom in various ways, visited with her a little bit, and at the same time connected with my staff in doing the work of our pastoral team meeting. At 11 a.m. I had an hour-long call with the Abortion Recovery Coalition. All the different ministries around the country that work for healing after abortion were active members of that particular group. And then in the afternoon, again, helping out with my mom, my brother, and the new person that was there helping in the house. And then at 4:45, I got on, again, an hour-long podcast. I was the co-host of a podcast with a gentleman by the name of Jacob Barr, the Pro-Life Guys podcast. You might be seeing that in different places. Getting ready, of course, for the presidential debate that night with some observations, commentary, and so on. And then that debate, of course, concluded the evening of September 10th. September 11th, of course, sad anniversary of the terrorist attacks on our country. There at home in Portchester, helping out again with my mom with the new home attendant that she has, and doing work at my computer, and also interacted with my staff. Some of the email work I did nice and early in the morning included, there's a declaration of Christian standing with Israel that I gladly signed on to, a gentleman I know very well who organized and put that together. Continued work on our essay contest, spots, approving video spots for airing, work on our prospecting and texting outreach to donors and supporters, revision of our online liturgical videos. That's where we help priests know how to preach on abortion. Working on opinion pieces to go into different publications, and then working on disseminating them once they are published. Again, giving approvals for appeal letters. Getting ready for state marches that Priests for Life will participate in, of course, in New Jersey, Pennsylvania, and Ohio. Online liturgical resources getting updated. And the upcoming meeting of pro-life leaders, the 115 Forum meeting, getting planned. Now, that was various work on my computer early in the morning and at different intervals during the day. At 8:30, we had an extended staff briefing that I was part of via Zoom. Updates from different people on our staff, like Dr. Teresa Burke and Kevin Burke, who co-founded Rachel's Vineyard and who are part of our team. We had a special prayer tribute that I led on that Zoom meeting for the events of September 11th. Once that was finished at around 9:30, I had a separate meeting with our executive director and with Kevin from Rachel's Vineyard. 10 a.m., our executive director and Katie from Rachel's Vineyard. She manages the main office there outside of Philadelphia. And then at 10:30, our executive director, Janet, and I met with our full-time priest associate, Father Dennis Wild. Again, these meetings on Zoom with planning different activities. That brought us to 11 o'clock. I was doing some things then to help my mom and other things that we had to do at home. 11:30, I had another Zoom call, this time with our executive director and our international coordinator, Bob, who does work for us at the United Nations and with other countries in their pro-life battles. Had some lunch, connected with staff, some phone calls and so forth, helped out there at the house, visited with my mom a little bit. 3 o'clock, back on Zoom with our entire team. We got updates from our youth ministry, from Father Dennis, from our international team, from our Washington, D.C. team, and from our communications director, summarizing all the media we had since the last pastoral team meeting. That meeting then continued with just a meeting of the immediate pastoral team, and we talked about our monthly reading. We always have them read a pro-life book each month, and we discuss it in detail. And then we had the some conversation about going forward with more opinion pieces in different publications, and planning for that. That doesn't just happen, you have to plan for it. Okay. That was Wednesday, September 11th, and then as the day went on, then the rest of the time I was just, again, visiting with family and catching up on some of those other email topics I already listed. And then that brings us to Thursday the 12th. Thursday the 12th of September, again, some of the topics dealing with on my computer, the liturgical resources online, the second episode of our special program about the ballot measures in the 10 states, and also some spots in regard to those amendments. More work on the essay contest, planning of media interviews, ordering of books, analysis from the presidential debate. I put out some commentary about that, you may have seen. Reaching out to homeschooling networks, part of our strategy for promoting the essay contest. News, ABC News, a response to ABC News. I composed and we sent out an action alert urging people to express their disgust really at ABC News's evident bias and collaboration with Kamala. Sending out e-blasts, looking at liturgical videos to update them, prayer event, promoting that for the live prayer broadcast against these amendments, and approving press releases. At 8:30 a.m. was the briefing. Again, extended briefing during which I gave a report on my recent travels, and Silent No More gave a report, and we had a technology update and good interaction with the staff for about an hour. Then at 10 a.m., another meeting with staff people, this time getting updates from different departments on our monthly statistics for the web pages, for the social media, for the online store, and discussion about making even better progress. So that was a 10 o'clock meeting. Finished with that, visited with my mom and with the new assistant that's helping at the house. We had some nice time sitting outside. It was a nice weather week, so we were out in the on the deck in the back of the house. And then, let me see, I continued interacting with staff, various phone calls, work on my computer on the things I mentioned. I had to go over to the town clerk to do some errands for my mom, and then in the evening we went to one of her favorite places to eat, IHOP. We went there for supper. And then at 8 o'clock in the evening, I led the election training call. We have people from across the country who gather for these now bi-weekly calls as we get close to the election. And we had a good discussion for about an hour and 15 minutes, after which I also touched base with our executive director, who was also part of the call. So that ended the evening on Thursday the 12th. And then Friday the 13th, again, starting out up there in New York with helping out with things around the house and with our new assistant. Then we did various work on my computer following up on the election Zoom meeting. I wrote a follow-up email summary of our conversation and resources and links, and had our appropriate staff people send that out. Communicating with a physicians group working against the pro-abortion amendment here in Florida. Opinion pieces. Preparing for the New Jersey March for Life, press releases regarding the different states, I gave approval of those, promotion of our prayer event, reaction continues to the presidential debate, and planning the upcoming live Good Shepherd seminar, that's our clergy training online. We had our staff briefing at 8:30. I gave them some important reminders and reflections. Then between checking in with other staff, helping out at home, doing those topical things on my email, I had another 10 o'clock meeting on Zoom with some of the staff dealing with the strategies and activities for the election. We talked about that. We talked about correspondence, and we talked about also the finalizing things about the essay contest. At 10:30, we checked in, our executive director and I checked in with our canonist. Our canon lawyer helps us to make sure that we are not only observing canon law, but also fighting back against the abuses of canon law that are carried out regularly, routinely by various bishops. Then I had lunch at home, visited some more with my mom. At 2 o'clock, I had to leave for the airport, returned the car. At the same time as I was going to the airport, I had an update meeting with our vice chairman, and we spoke about fundraising goals and other things that pertain to the running of the organization. As I was talking to him, as I say, I got to the airport, returned to the rental car, checked in for my flight, and I had already checked in online actually, but went through security And then opened up my computer and did some really fruitful work there at the airport before boarding the plane, including a 3 o'clock call with this was the final of the meetings of this week's pastoral team meetings, our executive director and our youth outreach director and director of activism. So we talked about plans for the coming months. Then I got on the plane, did a lot of work on the plane and on the car ride going back home, and got back to the office very happily, unpacking, catching up on paperwork that was waiting for me here. By this time it was 9 o'clock at night. Also had a late night phone conversation with our executive director as she was updating me about various work that she had done. And that concluded the day on Friday the 13th. There's my daily diary, the 9th through the 13th of September 2024. I hope your days are going well, and especially that your work on behalf of the unborn, because I know you're in this movement with me, is going well also. God bless you. We'll talk to you soon.